These are the 1996 Robert Fagles translations of Homer's Iliad and Odyssey, published by the Easton Press in 1998. As you can see, these books are part of a matching set. They actually come from a large set of about 9 to 12 books. I can't remember the exact number, but it's a set of Greek literature classics. So the Iliad and the Odyssey are both included in that matching set, and they all have a uniform cover design. First, let's have a look at the Iliad. As you can see, this book is bound in this nice glossy black leather. It's a high quality cowhide. It's quite nice feeling in the hands, and it does have that smooth, sort of oily texture to it. So it may have been coated in some sort of oil or something. On the front cover here, we have this gold embossed design, and I really like the frame that they use. It has that Greek architecture style to it, so it fits very nicely with the theme of this set as a whole. On the front cover, we have the Iliad and Homer, and then we have this symbol here on the front cover. I'm not too sure what exactly it is, but it is present on all of the books in this set. Moving over to the spine, you have more of that Greek architecture style on the spine, and then you can actually see translated by Robert Fagles advertised on the spine. His translation is quite popular. And then there are these fake spine hubs, which give it a bit more texture. That same symbol on the front, and then the Iliad and Homer. On the back cover, we have that same design as on the front cover. The only difference is that the text in the middle is gone, so you just have the frame around the outside. It looks quite nice. The page edges are all gilded, and it is a spectacular job. It's at least 22 karat, but it may be 23 karat. I'm not too sure. As you can see, it's a very nice job though, and it looks spectacular. These books do have head and tail bands, which are yellow and black. They're just all right looking. I guess they match the style of the books, which is all that's needed of them. On the inside here, we have this little insert, which says a note about the Iliad. And it just has a bit of information about the poem itself. The end papers on the inside here are this nice light pink silk moire, sort of. It's a cream colored with a hint of pink in there. Almost like some sort of hand soap, I want to say. Now it's very hard to open the front cover of this book. The cowhide binding is always a little tight to open. On the inside here, you have the front page, title page, and it has that same frame as on the front. You can see translated by Robert Fagles, introduction and notes by Bernard Knox, and frontispiece by Richard Sparks. And that frontispiece is this right here, and I think it looks very nice. And it's printed on this glossy photo paper, which is different than the paper used in the actual book. And the paper of this book is acid-free, and it's a very high-quality paper for sure. See, 1990 by Robert Fagles. I was mistaken. The translation is from 1990, not 1996, and the printing of this edition is 1998. Actually, the Iliad must be 1990, but the Odyssey translation is 1996. We have a translator's preface here by Robert Fagles, of course. And after that, the table of contents, an introduction, a very long introduction, spelling and pronunciation of Homeric names. And the actual Iliad begins right here. So there's definitely almost 75 pages maybe of introductory content before the actual book starts. You can see that this book does not have many, if any, illustrations whatsoever. It does have a few of these little, I can find one, these little symbols with the helmet scattered throughout, but those are, I would not count those as illustrations, and they're just all copy pasted sort of iconography. The formatting of this book is very nice and easy on the eyes. And on the inside here, we have this cream colored silk bookmark with that ever so slight hint of pink to it. I'm not too sure how I feel about this along with the end papers because it does not particularly match the style of the book, but it doesn't look bad. As you can see, no illustrations in the book itself. It's just the translation that people are buying this book for. A few of the pages actually need a little separation. Perfect. And I kind of have to hold this book open. It's really unfortunate that it actually won't lay flat. See, even from the exact middle, it just stands up on the spine and will tilt one way and not stand flat. That's how tight this cowhide binding is. They definitely did it much too tight, and it won't lay flat as a result. You can see that this is the most I can get it to open with before it simply bends and shuts itself. So the binding is not the best quality. It's really unfortunate that they bound it so tight. Otherwise, it would be a very nice book for sure. But the content of the book, I don't have any issues with it, although it does lack illustrations. Many people don't care for that too much. And the text is definitely a very large readable font size. And there are some notes at the back as well. Sorry for the awkward camera pose, or the awkward camera angle at this book because I can't get it to lay flat, so it's hard to look at the actual text from top down. And at the back, of course, the same end papers as at the front. Overall, it's a decent edition of the Iliad. It is a shame that the binding is so tight, otherwise it would have been a very nice copy for sure. Moving on to the Odyssey, I won't spend too much time on it because it's mostly the same. On the inside here, we have the note about the Odyssey, which just gives a bit of information about the book. The same binding with the same design, only difference is that it says the Odyssey. Same spine as well, translated by Robert Fagles. Same back cover design, and in the same excellent gilding job. Yeah, it's a very rich gold color. And then the headbands, of course, black and yellow. Let's see if this book is bound as tightly as the Iliad. Same end papers on the inside. And in fact, here we go. Here's the bookmark to look at. And I forgot about it last time because it was sandwiched in between the pages. But as you can see, it's that same sort of pinkish cream color as the other book. I know it now. It's like a strawberry frosting almost. Now this book does appear to be as tightly bound as the other, which is unfortunate. We have the front page here, translated by Robert Fagles, introduction and notes by Bernard Knox, so same as the Iliad, and the frontispiece by Richard Sparks, which I believe is the same as the Iliad as well. And here's a frontispiece, the only actual illustration in this whole book. But some people don't really care about that too much. As you can see, this translation is 1996. The introduction and notes are also from 1996, but this edition is 1998. And just like the Iliad, this is on neutral paper. That's acid free, so it won't yellow at all over time, and it will always stay nice and crisp. There's a lengthy introduction here as well. Here's a little map. Nice that they included that. I don't recall seeing this in the Iliad. And here's the content of the book itself. Just like the Iliad, it is formatted quite nicely. Very easy on the eyes. Definitely a readable book. Although you won't be able to lay it flat anywhere. It'll have to stay in your hands because just like the Iliad, this one does not lay flat. Although it's a tiny bit better. But as you can see, it just teeters back and forth. The covers don't actually fold out the entire way, which is really unfortunate. At the back here, we have notes on the translation. I believe there's more content. Suggestions for further reading. Pronouncing glossary. And there are a lot of names in this book. Oh my. And at the back of the book, obviously the same end papers that we've had at the front. Well, that's this 2-volume set of the Iliad and the Odyssey. It's nice that they match, although there are a few flaws that make them less desirable than some other editions out there, such as the lack of illustrations and, of course, the glaring issue with laying open flat. And these are quite expensive editions. I would say around $250 is what these books are worth together. So most people will probably pass, and you might be better to pass on these books as well and just find a cheaper set that is actually readable. That's all for these books, and thank you very much.